Oh, yeah. I am awake and alive.
I'm so great I gotta say it twice and cut it out once. My head's a syrup bottle that's getting tipped over every Wednesday. You're a storyteller in a storytelling podcast, and the only story you're telling now is a story about stories you don't want to tell. What the fuck? Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, 40-year-old boy podcast. Not ready to do a show, folks. Won't lie to you. I was late to getting to Lily's house, and now here I sit in her kitchen / stripper kitchen / stripper headquarters / Hitler Harbor. And that's a long story I don't want to even get into. It's her Hitler Harbor. She harbors Hitler here in this kitchen. Not Hitler himself, but just sympathizers and people who look like him and wear swastikas. There's plenty of them here right now. They're making wurst. Right now, there's several Hitlers over at the stove right now boiling wurst. They're making brats. They're making all sorts of. They're making German potato salad, which seems, I guess, on the nose. Wouldn't they? Come on, vary it up, Hitlers. You're already wearing the Hitler clothes. Why are you then making German potato salad? But make something different. Actually, go the other route. Make me matzo ball soup. That would be fucking amazing. If a guy dressed as Hitler made me matzo ball soup, just the dichotomy alone would make that soup delicious. I love dichotomy soup. I am sitting here and she pointed at me and it's like, cause it's late. Here's the thing. I got to call Mex in like half an hour to give me a painting for the show. And there wasn't a show for him to paint. Like I would have to call him and just go, dude, you got to paint whatever the fuck. And now he's going to paint Hitler making soup. I mean, Jesus Christ, I better find something else to talk about or else fucking Mex is totally he's painting himself into a corner with Hitler. That's not good, right? He's got to go ahead and get to the stove and get Hitler with the matzo balls. And then he's going to I don't know what he's going to do, folks. I got to talk. I got to find something that makes it worthwhile for Mex to paint because that's what he does. I call him right now. It's what time is it? 7 o'clock?
6:54.
It's 6:54 p.m. on the West Coast. You guys in the future, you don't know anything about that. You've already had your 6:54. It's 9:54 in New York right now. You're tucking yourselves in right now, winking, blinking, and nod. You're putting on your nightshirt and you're pulling on your goofy hat, and you're waiting to be visited by the ghost of Christmas future. Right? Isn't that who it was? It was the Ghost of Christmas Future. No, it's the Ghost of June Future. That's what's coming up. We got a week. We're a week away. What the Ghost of June Future just shows up in a sundress and sandals? Maybe he doesn't wear a sundress. Maybe he wears something else. Because you're wearing a dress to go to sleep. What are you wearing a nightshirt and a hat for? It's warm outside. It's summer, for fuck's sake. Go ahead and go. Folks, look, you got to go. You must wear nothing when you go to bed. That's what I say. Sleep in the nude. I have a friend who's like anti-nude. She's like, no, that's ridiculous. Bullshit. I say get nude. That's if I can bring any message to you. You don't have to. Well, you do. I mean, I would enjoy it, but you don't have to. Say it again. If I can bring you any message, folks, it's get nude. That's right. Get nude and enjoy Hitler soup. So it's late, man. I'm here to talk, and then I got here a little late, and there was no parking, so I had to park in the fucking parking garage, and then I had to make my way through all the Cirque du Soleil people. There's a Cirque du Soleil show next door. All right, help me. I understand when people go see like the Grateful Dead, they dress up like the Grateful Dead, but that's because they live their lives as members of the Grateful Dead. They're all selling grilled cheese and eating microdots and wearing the fucking tie-dye, even though it's 2012. And that's what they do when they go to the show. But I didn't know that people would dress up for plays. Like when you go see Death of a Salesman, do you dress like Willy Loman? Does that happen? And look, I've been to Death of a Salesman. I've seen the play, and it was a regular crowd. It wasn't a bunch of schlubby fucking salesmen. I mean, because you would think if you were a schlubby salesman who dressed like Willy Loman, the last thing you'd want to fucking see is Death of a Salesman. You live that life. Why the fuck do you have to go see it put on in front of you on a stage? You are, if you were a salesman, you literally spend your entire life waiting for and hopefully avoiding the death of a salesman. Why would you buy tickets to see Death of a Salesman? I don't understand why people would dress up as Willy Loman. And look, and that's, all right, that's a straw man argument. I just made that up. Yeah, because you need me to tell you that I just made that up, right? I'm sure you're all sitting there going, I can't believe that Mike's seen all these people dress up as Willy Loman to go see Death of a Salesman. That never happened. I made it up. It's hypothetical. However, I was next door, and there's a Cirque du Soleil show, and there are people dressed up like French acrobats. Like, and granted, look, it's a tourist spot. Maybe these are actual French acrobats who've come to visit the Kodak Theater area. Maybe they don't even know Cirque du Soleil is happening, and because I'm not from France, they could all just look like fucking Marcel Marceau and hop around with their fucking faces painted. I got no clue, all right? I'll ask Hitler. Hitler's making soup. Hitler, you've been to France. I understand you were there for a couple of days and really wowed them. But yeah, so I don't know if people dress like that all the time in France, but there are people here, and Cirque du Soleil even, it's French, right?
French.
Soleil is, say it again?
French Canadian.
French Canadian. Oh, all right, hold on. French Canadian? Yeah, that's weird. Well, it's not really French. Pick a side. You're either French or you're Canadian. I don't give a fuck where you were born or what you speak. Pick one. Identify with one. Quit saying both. You can't hog both. But you know why? Because you can be U.S. Canadian because we're right next door to one another. We're joined at the hip. We're like Siamese twins of continents. All right. I know we're not continents, we're countries, but still. But if you're French Canadian, you can't be that way because France is too far away from Canada for you to claim both. Even though some of you settled over here from there, I suppose, right? Isn't there? Look, I'll be in Canada soon. You guys can explain it all to me when I get there. When I get to Toronto, you can tell me all about it, I'm sure. I booked my hotel. So you guys, you can come and visit me and tell me I don't know, because I do this stuff through price. I booked all my airfare. I've got my Toronto airfare, my Toronto hotel, Kansas City airfare and hotel, Indianapolis airfare, and now I have my Boston hotel. Everything is square. All I need is my hotel in Indianapolis, which is proving problematic still, but I'll figure it out. I'm sure you rednecks will leave one space for me to sleep in as you show up to watch guys drive in a fucking circle. But that'll happen. I'm sure that'll happen. Of course it'll happen. I already the theater booked. All right. All right. You know what? Fuck. I'll get to this in a second. Let me finish the thought about being next door. There are people actually dressed. Well, there's not even a thought. There's people dressed up like they're going to Cirque du Soleil. Because I had to validate my parking. And in order to do that, I had to wander through like a human pyramid of people who were over there to fucking promote it. So I guess my whole point was don't dress up. Like I've never seen Blue Man Group. Do guys show up all blue, and spitting marshmallows at one another from across the fucking lobby? I don't know. I have no idea if that's true. I've been to shows where guys are spitting marshmallows at one another, but it had nothing to do with the Blue Man Group. It was a stick show. I saw sticks, and there were dudes spitting marshmallows at one another, and I was like, "This is pretty amazing." And then it was a couple of blue collar men. They were doing it, and of course it was. Why wouldn't it be? But then it turned out they weren't really spitting marshmallows. It was just a grand illusion. So it's Sticks Talk. You know what? I'm going to do that a couple more times, and then some guy's going to come out and fire me. That'll be fantastic. Fire me for my own podcast. Which actually wouldn't be a bad thing, quite frankly, at this point, because I just want to go home. I'm here to talk, but a part of me, my brain's not even here, folks. You know why? Because I was going to, didn't I just say I was going to say something? I was going to talk about something?
About the theater?
Oh, fuck. All right, remind me. I'll get to that in a second. What the hell was I? But I was just going to say something else.
You were talking about the people out here dressing up like Willy Loman.
Oh, you know what? Hold on a second. I just figured this out. Because remember I said the parking was all fucked over there and it's all blocked off? Isn't fucking American Idol over here tonight?
Probably.
The finale
Probably.
is in the Kodak Theater.
Yeah, probably.
Because it was so funny because I'm not even kidding. I was just going to say I got to get home because I've got to see American Idol tonight. But now I could walk over there and just like poke my head and be like, "Hey, who won?" Good, and then leave and then just go home. Because I can't look. I watch American Idol. I'm the last grown man with a cock who watches fucking American Idol. Everybody else is like all these little teenage girls. I get that, and I shouldn't say I'm the last grown man. I'm the last heterosexual man with a cock. I mean, I'm sure tons of grown gay men are watching it because I'm finding out that they have a thing for this kid who's in the finals. There's two people in the finals. All right, folks. There's a kid named Philip Phillips, and then there's a girl named Jessica Sanchez who is 16 and is flawless. I mean, she is so technically perfect. She has to fucking win, but she won't. She's going to lose to cute guy with guitar again because that's all that they fucking choose. And it's so funny when you're watching American Idol as it goes on. You know who's going to win. It's terrible. You watch, and it's ever since. Look, I don't want to watch it. I really don't. I liked watching it when Simon Cowell was there because I enjoyed him. He's funny, and he was interesting, and he actually, I thought, did a good job telling them what they did wrong. Well, now they don't do anything wrong because it's fucking it's Jennifer Lopez and then Steven Tyler's grandmother, and then of course there's Randy Jackson, and all they do is love everything. Like they're never critical about anything, and you watch it and it's frustrating. And I even told Karen, I go, look, I can't watch this anymore. But then we tape it and I wind up fucking watching it. I fast forward through most of it, but now it's the final, so I have to fucking watch it because you never know what's gonna happen. Who knows? You know what's funny? I'm close. I could make that prophecy completely come true. When I said you never know what's going to happen, I could just right now wander over there and fucking take a shot at somebody. You never know what's going to happen. Fat podcaster wanders in and tackles somebody. Boom! There you go. You've got a show. Hold on a second, folks. Can we take this mic on the road? Let's do that.
Sure.
How great would that be if I could do like just record while I'm there and sneaking around? Oh, what if I was climbing through the ceiling like Bender? And I was just like, this girl walks into a bar with a parrot on one shoulder and a 2-foot salami under the other. Boom, I fall through onto Seacrest's head. Don't even get to finish the joke, even on American Idol, for fuck's sake. That's the move. Oh, we should have. I should have planned this better. I could have done this last week. We could have had a whole fucking thing. I could have snuck in. I could have got a security guard's uniform. I could have gone to the back door, pretended to be a baker. I'm bringing rolls for everybody because that's what they have in American Idol. I don't know if you know that, folks. That's how fancy it is backstage. Rolls for everybody. That's what they call it, too. It's actually the name of my catering business. Rolls for everybody. Dumb fuck. So American Idol. So they got these two people who are competing. And the thing is, the dude with the guitar is going to win. All right, we all, it's already predisposed to where any little girl who's still sliding down a banister and trying to figure out why she feels so good, she's still voting for this guy because that's where they're at in their development. Okay, Philip Phillips is the human banister for these 12-year-old girls. And so they're casting a vote that way because he makes them feel like the banister feels. So he's going to win because of that. But here's the thing that makes me mad. I watched the show last night and they all sing their final songs. And Jessica Sanchez blows him away. Because if you've seen this guy, he's Dave Matthews. And it's when I say that, it's not even like, wow, he's sort of like Dave Matthews. No, he is Dave Matthews. Like, it would not surprise me if Scooby-Doo style at the end of the finale he won, and then fucking the Mystery Machine crashed in, and then Fred and Velma ran over, they tied him up, and they pulled the mask off, and it was Dave Matthews. That's how fucking Dave Matthews this guy is. He's so Dave Matthews that TMZ, there was a story and it said, Dave Matthews, quote, hey, maybe that guy can take over my band. Or Philip Phillips can take over my band. That was the quote. All right, that was the headline quote. Then you read the story, and what it was TMZ went up to him. They go, hey, have you seen this guy Philip Phillips on American Idol? He goes, no, I heard he's a lot like me. And they're like, yeah. And he goes, well, maybe I can finally quit. Maybe I can finally retire and this guy can take over my band. Like, he wasn't happy about it. The headline made it sound like Dave Matthews says Philip Phillips can take over my band. No, he was basically making fun of this motherfucker because he doesn't have a fucking ounce of originality in him. And I will tell you this, by the way, the only people in the world who feel that way are me and my wife. Because online, everybody loves that motherfucker. Everybody, they're going on and on about how brilliant. He did, 2 weeks ago, he did We've Got Tonight by Bob Seger. Okay. And what it was they always pick their own songs, and he always picks some fucking Jason Mraz bullshit, and he hides behind a guitar, and then he growls, and he keeps his eyes open, and he looks like Ben Affleck. That's one of the reasons, too, was we think J-Lo loves him, because he looks like fucking Ben Affleck. So Karen, her theory is that, he's just got the Bennifer thing happening, and she's reminiscing, and so she blows him the whole time. But they give this guy standing ovations. It's ridiculous. So the deck is complete. So he did We Got Tonight, all right? 2 weeks ago, he did We Got Tonight. And as it's going on, I looked at Karen and I go, this is horrendous. This just lost the competition for him. Because he was completely out of his comfort zone. Usually he's hiding behind a guitar and all that. But then this time he's sitting around and there's a piano and like a chorus. And he's like, we got tonight. And he's like swaying awkwardly. And he keeps rubbing his leg because you see how fucking nervous he is, right? So it ends. The building collapses from the people clapping and stomping their feet. The judges stand up, and they don't just stand up, all right? They were to give him a standing ovation. They actually assemble into like a giant Megatron judge, like on each other's fucking shoulders. It's like Cirque du Soleil's in that building, and they caught the fever because they did a somersault and leaped onto fucking Randy Jackson's shoulders and made one giant fucking ovationist prime judge. That's what they did. And they clapped as one singular entity, and those claps were sent to the heavens, and then he was anointed as the winner of American Idol. That's what happened. I couldn't believe it. I sat there watching because I went, this is it. This is this guy just signed his death knell with a Bob Seger song. By the way, if you can't pull off a Bob Seger song and you're like a crooner, troubadour, balladeer type of idiot, quit. Seriously, drive a fucking railroad spike right into your throat and never use your voice box again. Because how tough is it to sing Seger? Said the guy who can't sing anything. But still. So that's when I knew there was trouble because it was awful. It was his version of We Got Tonight was awful. I will fight it forever. Forever. And I will have to. I'm sure I will have to. I'm sure fans of Philip Phillips from this day forward will be confronting me and pigeonholing me and putting me into a corner and saying, listen, that We Got Tonight was amazing. It was not. And I will stand there and I will take those arguments and I will, in the face of them, I will be like a rock. I'll let that one sink in. Fuck it. I'm just going to turn the page on this whole thing. All right. So they anointed him the winner. I knew they did. And this girl, Jessica Sanchez, they're so mean to her. Like she's 16. And look, all right, let me say this. She's 16 and she's singing songs in a way that she has no business singing them. She's the best mimic in the world, all right? Because she can sing a Beyonce song, a Rihanna song, or a Mariah song, or a Jennifer Hudson song, and she sings them just like they sing them and can convey the same emotion, even though you're like, well, you're 16. You have no emotion whatsoever. You probably still have a hymen, for fuck's sake. The only way you don't is if you broke it with a high note. Honestly, that is the only way. You lost your virginity to a high C. That's the only way this poor girl has had any sex in her life. And she's 16. She shouldn't have had sex at this point. If you do, great. If you don't, great. Wear a fucking condom, ride a banister, whatever the fuck you want to do with your life. I don't care. If you're 16 and you're listening to the show, hold on. I know for sure there's at least one, or there used to be. Do whatever you want. That's my point. But wear protection. Wear a condom. And if you see me, get one. I have condoms on me at all times. That's who I am. I'm Johnny Condom Seed. Just find me. I hand them out to anybody. And I make it a point to hand out the ones that aren't lubed, by the way, just in case. If you guys want to know, if you come up to me for a condom, I will not have a lubed condom for you. Because lube tastes awful. All right, so. Nobody wants numb lips. That ruins the whole fucking thing. Try kissing somebody with numb lips. Try blowing somebody with numb lips. I don't even ask how I know. All right, that seems odd. Oh my God. All right, so, folks. Anyway, so this girl, Jessica Sanchez, is the best mimic in the world. But it doesn't matter because her mimicking to me is better than this guy's heartfelt, soulful 21-year-old bullshit. I got to tell you this too about this guy. If you watch American Idol, you know that they make them do Ford commercials. And they're awful. Like they dress them up as Charlie Chaplin and then they do a fake bank robbery all to like a Shinedown song. I mean, it's just fucking horrendous. It's just a way to convince you to buy the Ford Focus, which is fine. I don't know why they just do a Ford Focus commercial, but they decided to put it in as product placement and make it cute. And it's not cute or funny or interesting. But here's what's even worse. All year they've been doing them. You'll tune in for the results show on Thursday and they'll be like, hey, it's time for a Ford commercial. And then they'll do Come On Eileen and it's like and it's all kids bop. That's the worst fucking thing too. If you watch American Idol, when they do, if they sing individually, that's one thing. It can sound bad because it's just young people trying to interpret songs that they have no business interpreting. Like I will say this one girl earlier this year sang a Bonnie Raitt song. She sang, turn out the lights, turn down the bed, turn down these voices that are in my head. I can't make you love me. Okay. The girl who sang it was 17 and she's trying to interpret that song. And it's just like, again, someone who's never seen a cock in their life cannot sing that fucking song. It's a difficult thing to sing, even if you've had your heart destroyed. All right. But if you haven't, if you're just all fucking bubblegum and puppies, you're not going to be able to pull that fucking song off. And subsequently that girl went home. But this girl, Jessica Sanchez, is a great mimic. She will make you think you're listening to Bonnie Raitt, but it doesn't matter. You know that there's no feeling really there. She's like a robot. She's like an amazing singing robot, which is fine. It's about time our robot overlords won American Idol, as far as I'm concerned. Because you know what? We've enslaved the robots to tally the numbers for years about who will win. It's about time we rewarded them with one of their own as a champion, right? I can't believe that the robots haven't gone sentient. And you know what? Why hasn't American Idol Skynet gone live and sentient and figured out what was going on? It's become self-aware and it's voted for a winner. Maybe it has. I apologize. I take that back. Maybe robots just like white crooners with guitars. I have no idea. Perhaps my robot theory has legs. Strong metal legs. So the finals are these people against one another. And, so I'm talking about the Ford commercials, right? All right. So they assemble all of the contestants every week to do this ridiculous Ford commercial. And I start to notice as it's going on, because I watch them just for the pure schadenfreude of seeing these 11-year-olds have to run around and try to sell me a car. People who can't even drive. But in the ads, I noticed that fucking Philip Phillips is never in the Ford ads. And they finally reveal that he's sick. Like he has an illness with his kidneys. And as the weeks go by, every time he has to go get mentored and sing, he has to leave for medical treatment. And they're never really specific. Like I think they said kidney stones once, but they never really specifically said what he had. All we know is he never has to do the Ford commercials. They've made it as easy as possible for this motherfucker to win. So, and if you watch him sing, like he sings with his eyes open and he always makes faces, and he's got like this illness, and they keep telling him he's great. So we were watching it the other day, and after the Bob Seger song, everybody went crazy, and I'm like, I don't get this. Why the fuck are they telling him that was good? That was awful. And this is genius. Karen looks at me and she goes, you know what? What if he's a Make-A-Wish kid? I said, what do you mean? She goes, well, he's sick all the time, right? I said, yeah. She goes, and he doesn't have to do those commercials. He's sick and he's getting all this treatment. But yet they keep telling him he's a genius and he keeps moving on and they're telling him he's brilliant even though you and I don't see it. And I go, yeah. She goes, what if he's a Make-A-Wish kid and his wish was to win American Idol? And I immediately clamped my hand over her mouth. And I said, you fool. Not another word. Because I'm telling you, she's right. And it is the biggest scandal in the history of show business. And if word gets out, her life is in danger. I'm telling you that this is the truth. Because the only people who know are the people behind the scenes at Idol. That's the only people who know. And they're keeping the secret. They're keeping it quiet. And they're making sure that it happens this way. Because they don't want to let it out there. If it gets out there, they're letting this cripple fucking take home the title because he wanted it. Then every cripple in the world's going to line up. Every fucking Tiny Tim is going to say, fuck that. Please, sir, I want some more. Granted, that's Oliver Twist. I understand that's not Tiny Tim. But still, every child who's got a fucking broken leg or a hangnail or every girl who falls off a banister is going to think that they got a shot at winning American Idol. And they don't want that out. So I've got my hand firmly clamped over Karen's mouth. I'm like, don't say it, you fool. Don't say it out loud because they will send out their American Idol assassins. And they're out there, folks. I guarantee they're out there. The only people who knew this are the people within the inner circle of Idol, including Ryan Seacrest. But Ryan Seacrest made a mistake. He told the one person in the world outside of the Idol inner circle that he trusted. He told Dick Clark. And what the fuck happened to Dick Clark? Yeah, exactly. Dick Clark got fucking offed. You know why? Because they didn't trust him to keep his mouth shut. Because did you see Dick Clark? He couldn't keep his fucking mouth shut. Literally. So the Idol assassins knew. They knew that Seacrest had let it leak, and he was like, no, man, Dick Clark's never going to share that. But you know what? Dick Clark got the word that the Idol assassins were on his trail. So he gathered Donna Summer and Robin Gibb into his enclave, into his Dick Clark fortress, and he whispered it to them on his deathbed. He had been poisoned already, but on his deathbed, he whispered to Robin Gibb and Donna Summer that Philip Phillips was a Make-A-Wish kid and that American Idol was granting him his wish to win. It was an inside job, and he let them know about it. And Donna Summer and Robin Gibb were like, what are we going to do with this information? You know what you're going to do? You're going to take it to the grave, like fucking Dick Clark. Philip Phillips is Dick Clark's rosebud.
You're listening to The 40-Year-Old Boy, and coming up later, Adriana DeRuse eats a popsicle very, very slowly. A Kickstarter reward.
I got one.
Let me use a tambourine, though. You got a whole thing of instruments over there.
Dedicate one to the lady.
Ladies.
On summertime's here, baby, need something to keep you cool.
C-O-O-L.
On summertime's here, babe, need something to keep you cool. Better look out now, cause here comes Adriana DeRuse.
You just heard a whole bunch of Adriana DeRuse there, right? It's a Kickstarter reward. Adriana was nice enough to contribute to the show. And when people gave to the show for Kickstarter, I had to try to assemble. And by the way, if you gave to Kickstarter, everybody should have all their stuff now. Everybody except for the Boston people. When I come to Boston, I'm bringing everybody, caricatures and things like that. I'm because why ship them? It doesn't make any sense. I'm going to bring them and I'll hand them out like Christmas. It'll be like Santa. I'll have a huge sack of Boston stuff. Yes, and so that'll be fine. So if you're in Boston, be prepared for that. But anybody who gave to Kickstarter, we went ahead and recorded things and stuff like that. And then I contacted everybody because I needed to know how they spelled their name and how they said their name and not spelled but pronounced their name. And even if your name was Mike Smith, I sent you the same thing. So I sent Adriana DeRuse a thing, and I'm like, hey, how do you pronounce your name? And she didn't answer me back. Unfortunately, I contacted her through Kickstarter and wasn't able to get a hold of her. So then I dug her up on Facebook. I actually found her on Facebook, and I sent her a note there. And I'm like, "Look, I'm sorry to bother you here. I bothered you through Kickstarter. I just need to know how to pronounce your name for the promos and stuff." And she didn't get back to me, but that's fine. So then I went and recorded everything in Chicago. I had to fly to Chicago and record stuff, and then I came back to LA. And then I got a nice note from her on Facebook, and it said, "Oh, Mike, I'm real sorry. I'm very busy with school. My name is pronounced Audriana DeRuse." Not the standard Adriana. It's Audriana. So go back and listen to that thing that you just heard and plug in the name Audriana if you get a chance. That's one of the reasons why I put them together, because I didn't want to explain this twice during the season. Because I like to keep them separate usually, but this time you got an Audriana, you got a double shot of Adriana right there. And actually, it wasn't Adriana. It was Audriana DeRuse who contributed. Adriana DeRuse, fuck her. Quite frankly, she can give me a fucking dime. I don't know why I did promos for her, but she got in on the cheap. Adriana DeRuse, fine, fantastic. She wins. Poor Audriana DeRuse, I didn't even do a tribute to her. So now that's why I mention it now. This is my thank you for Kickstarter, for Audriana DeRuse. And I don't know who the fuck Adriana DeRuse is, but I wasted my time doing two fucking promos for her. Unbelievable. So there, I dumped that in your lap for no reason, because why not? Why not tell you all that? And good luck. Maybe Mex can draw that. Maybe Mex will draw me telling you about me mispronouncing Adriana DeRuse's name. Actually, you know what? I actually pronounced Adriana DeRuse's name perfectly. I mispronounced Audriana DeRuse's name. And that also happened with one other person. But you'll find all about that later. So during the season, stick around, folks. I don't know if you fast forward to the breaks or the commercials, or who knows. I don't know how you handle it. But how would you? You don't even know how long they are. They could be super long. And who knows what they could be. You could hear your own name, for fuck's sake. Unless you gave me no money, then fuck you, quite frankly. You're not going to hear your name. Very rarely will I just bust out someone's name who gave me no cash. I can't do that. There has to be recompense involved. There has to be some sort of quid pro quo. All right. I'm traveling I've got shows coming up. I'm going to Boston. And tickets for Boston are selling, which is pretty cool. I'm glad for that. So the tech guy from Boston, I'm playing the Cambridge YMCA Theater, folks. And I've booked this in March. I think it was late March I booked this. And I talked to Frank, good guy. Books the place, seemed like a nice man. We talked on the phone. He was really, in the beginning, he wasn't sure he had dates, but then he had a date. We locked it down. Everything was solid. I paid him my money. Everything was good. I have an invoice. So a couple of months go by. It's late May. April goes by. And about a week ago, I get an email from a guy. His name is Andy. Nice kid. I don't know if he's a kid. It was an email. It wasn't written elderly or young. But I call him a kid. And he was the tech guy. He's like, hey, I understand you need this and this. I want to go ahead and get a handle on it. Maybe we can get, a jump. And I said, great. So I wrote him. And I said, okay, I do the meet and greet afterwards. I do the show. I've got a beat sheet of music. I'll bring that, CDs. And he writes me back. He goes, great. He goes, as long as you're, that meet and greet sounds fine. As long as you're out of the building by 10:15, everything should be cool. That's not a problem, because we do have the noise curfew at 10:15. I'm sure Frank told you about that. And as long as you're square and out of there by then, that's fine. Guess what Frank didn't tell me about? The noise curfew at 10:15 p.m. We have to be out of the building by 10:15 p.m. Show starts at 8. At least that's what it says on all your tickets. The show itself, as I've mentioned, in some cities, it can go long. It averages about 2 hours and 50 minutes, 3 hours. It shouldn't. It's way too long. There needs to be an intermission, and I'll tell you why. I went and saw Roger Waters this week. All right, I went back to I saw the Roger Waters The Wall. Yes, I know. After last week's show, you're like, why the fuck are you spending money on Roger Waters? I had already spent it, and then I put the tickets back on StubHub, and I put them on Craigslist, and I couldn't sell them, so I went to the fucking show. I tried to sell them. I certainly didn't try to sell them in the parking lot. I figured once I got there, then I wasn't going to try to scalp them. But I did try to sell them on StubHub and on Craigslist. Didn't happen, so I went to the fucking show. You know why? Because I'm living my fucking life. All right, back off. Everybody who wrote me, and look, I invited it. I recognize that, and this is not directed at the nice people. You know who you are, who wrote me concerned, and wrote me wanting to help, and wrote me with advice, and wrote me asking me if things were okay. You guys are great. This is sent out to the people who basically wrote me to tell me what a fucking idiot I was and how I needed to shut up and stop whining and own it because I fucked my life up. And I enjoy the fact that I'm sending it out to you folks. I don't know if you're aware of that. I've sent out like some sort of weird long distance dedication. This goes out to all of you people who went ahead and sat down and wrote something that was crazy presumptuous and hit send. Remember I said earlier that the robots maybe are choosing the winners of American Idol and they become self-aware? I think maybe all of the computers in the world should become self-aware and stop sending shitty emails. That's what they should do. Computers are smart. They're smarter than humans, right? We've already established that. I think a computer should proofread every email and just go, yeah, you're not sending this. That's not going to happen. Disabling retarded send buttons. That's what computers should do. They should disable the send buttons of the retarded before they type out their meanness and send it out into the goddamn world. And look, I'm not saying mean like, ooh, boo-hoo, poor me. I think it's remarkable. I mean, I'll be honest. Whenever I read anything from an internet comment to where somebody's racist or weird, or to when anybody who writes me and says something ridiculous and mean, it's just, I'm stunned that they felt the need. That's what and look, I've talked about this a billion times on here, and who the fuck cares? I'm just always amazed by mean, I guess. Because I mean, I can be mean if the situation calls for it. Eventually, you get pushed to a point where you fucking break and you become mean. But people that are just mean about nothing that matters to them or their life, it just seems strange. Like you know what? It's funny. I went to Dodger Stadium. I was going to talk about this last week. I went like 2 weeks ago because Karen went as a breast cancer survivor. So she was invited to join the Dodgers. Now that seems strange, probably. I don't know why they're in first place. Why would you be hiring women who survived cancer? I mean, I guess it's a good PR move. No, we had to go because Karen is she's involved with Susan G. Komen, which is the one of the cancer people. I don't know what the fuck. There's a few of them. She's been with Revlon. She's worked for all of them. So she was doing volunteer stuff for Susan G. Komen, and it turned out that they wanted the volunteers to come to Dodger Stadium on Mother's Day and go out onto the field and form a purple, or not purple, pink ribbon. Not a purple ribbon. I think that's actually in favor of measles, right? Isn't that, because breast cancer is against breast cancer, purple ribbon in favor of measles. That's coming up in September at Dodger Stadium. So she had asked me to go, and I said, yeah, I'll go. And then this will show you what kind of a husband I am. As it's approaching, every day she keeps saying to me, you know, you don't have to go, like, if you really don't want to, because I usually duck out of this kind of stuff. I mean, I just do. I did like one 5K with her for the breast cancer thing, and but usually I'm just like, if you're volunteering for stuff, go volunteer and do your thing. Because my schedule's fucked. I mean, I can't, I sleep in the daytime. But when she told me about this, I knew it was important to her because she's going out in the field at Dodger Stadium. It's kind of fun. And she's like, you get to go on the field. And I'm like, I don't want to go on the fucking field. I didn't survive breast cancer. That just seems disingenuous. She's like, no, it's like, the people who survived and whatever the fuck. I said, I'm excited to go. I want to see you do it. It's an honor. So I went with her. Even coming the day before, she's like, you don't have to go in the morning if you don't want to. And I finally looked at her and I go, do you want me to go? And she said, yes, very much. And I said, then stop telling me I don't have to go. Because if you keep telling me I don't have to go, then eventually I'm just going to go, well, then I don't think she wants me to go. She's like, no, I really want you to go. I go, then stop telling me you don't have to go. But it's because she's used to letting me kind of do whatever I want. And all right, this gets to a larger point. Like she's too selfless. Like she will do anything for anybody. Like she'll tell me stories about these people. All right, whatever. She'll do things and she'll do good things for people and then they're shitty to her. And I'm like, well, did you tell them to fuck off or did you fight back? Well, no, I just kind of walked away. Well, then you don't slink away. You fucking stand up for yourself. You're 46 years old, for fuck's sake. You can let some 22-year-old steamroll you? Fuck that chick. I've had that, believe me, you have no idea how many times I've had that fucking conversation, folks. So I said, let's go to the thing. So we went to Dodger Stadium. We pulled into park. And as we approached, they said, we're all meeting over by this one. Look for a cluster of pink. And folks, if you know me, you know that I spend most of my days looking for a cluster of pink. There can be no doubt about that. So I know exactly what I'm looking for. So we go around the building and we go back by center field, and there was the tent and a ton of people. And there was a cluster of pink right there. So I thrust myself into that cluster of pink. It's a natural reaction, folks. See a cluster of pink, you thrust yourself right into it. So we go walking up, and they're all very nice, and they're handing out, letters and things. And Karen brings me and introduces me to some people. And there was one woman there named, let's call her Alice. So Alice seemed very nice, and she hugged Karen. And then there were some other young people there, and they were very nice. It seemed like everyone was there to have a good time. And then Karen introduced me to a couple, and I had already gotten in trouble regarding this couple before, and I'll tell you why. Because they were very nice people, and Karen met them when she was doing these volunteers. And this woman is also a survivor. And Karen wound up at their house, and she said it's this amazingly huge house, and they had a chef working, and then they put out all these hors d'oeuvres, and and they're very nice. They like sushi. And so Karen's like, we should hang out with them. And I said, yeah, we're not going to be hanging out with them. And she's like, why not? I said, because eventually we'll have to pick up a check. I said, you do realize that. I go, if you go out with people, it's not like even if you go Dutch, that's fine. I go, but eventually, even if they pay for the first check, we got to get the second check. And we're not in a position to be picking up checks right now. Now, let's grab our stuff and go to the Roger Waters concerts. I get it. Stop typing. And she was pissed at me. Karen was really mad. She's like, I meet these people and they seem really nice and we can be friends with them. I'll be friends with them. If they want to play Monopoly and drink water, I mean, I'm fine with that. But fancy people with fancy houses don't have they don't want to just sit around. They want to go do stuff. We'll go to a movie. We'll go do those things, and those things cost money. And right now we're not in a position to be coughing up cash for that. We just aren't. I said, I'm happy to hang out with them and talk. That's fine. If they want to go ahead and sit around a pool and chat, I'm in. But at the second they say, hey, let's go out to eat, the dynamic changes. And Karen's like, well, and she's pissed at me, but in reality, she's pissed at the situation, and she unloads on me, and it turned into a thing. But I finally get to meet them at the park, and they're very nice people. They're cool, and again, they're talking about sushi, and then we got to go out sometime, and I'm like, oh, that sounds great. I can't wait to go out. And then, by the way, if you go to my MikeSchmidtComedy.com and there's a little Schmitty with his pocket out, that's me at dinner with those people. The check's going to come up and I'm going to sit up. You know what I got in my pocket to pay for that dinner? I'm going to reach in my pocket and pull out a wah, wah. That's what I keep at all times in my pocket these days. That's the only thing I have on me. I got my keys, and in my left-hand pocket, I got a wah, wah. Stop typing. So we get there, I meet them, they're nice. And there's this cluster of pink. I've thrust myself directly into the center to it. And then I backed out and I thrust myself in a second time because I felt weird leaving. But then I felt strange too because I don't belong. So I backed out, but then I thrust myself into the cluster of pink a third time. So then we go over and meet more people that are very nice. Everybody's very pleasant. They have no reason not to be happy. They survived fucking cancer. Be happy, motherfucker. You're at Dodger Stadium and it's sunny outside. Yeah, you could be under this fucking parking lot. You would think, right? You would think you'd just be happy. You survived cancer. Be happy. And everybody was, except one fucking woman. One woman was not happy. I should have said that to her. Hey, you survived cancer. What the fuck is your problem? And you're being mean to other cancer people. That's fucking ridiculous. That's like if you were in the Holocaust and you were in Auschwitz and you were Jewish and they made you the head of the prison camp and you got to be mean to the other Jewish people. Fuck that. You're all in this together. Because what happened was we were going to go out on the field, and Karen wanted me to go on the field and form the ribbon. And this one woman, Alice, just goes, "Oh, no, he can't go." And Karen's like, why not? She says, well, does he have a pink shirt? And I look, you know me. The second they tell me, the second it looks like the instant it looks like there's going to be some weird controversy over me, I want to leave. I'm not there to ruin anybody's day. I'm not there to fuck anything up. Nobody told me I had to wear a pink shirt if I wanted to go on the field. And I got news for you. I don't want to go on the fucking field. I came here to thrust myself into a cluster of pink and have my wife go out on the field. That's it. That's all I wanted to do. So then it turns into a debate. Of course, like all the volunteers have to determine whether or not I can go. And I go, look, I don't want to go on the field. I won't go. Well, no, it's fine, but you should have a pink shirt. I don't know why you didn't wear a pink shirt. Because I don't own a fucking pink shirt. Jesus Christ. Do they make a pink shirt in 3X? I don't think they fucking do. Because now I'm getting pissed. It's like, we're all happy. We're all friends here. We all survived tumors, right? Didn't we all survive tumors? Granted, I didn't. Actually, and why are you being mean to me? I have the strength to beat you all to death. I didn't go through weeks of chemotherapy. I haven't been weakened. I haven't had parts of my body removed surgically. I could take you on and destroy you, all of you. There will be it'll be a ruinous cluster of pink. I will destroy this cluster. It'll be a cluster of red and pink by the time I'm finished. You want to talk shit to me about a pink shirt and I can't go on the field? Who the fuck cares? I'll just fucking Hulk smash the lot of you. How does that sound? You survive cancer, you're not going to survive Schmidt. So it turns into a debate. And the thing is, then they start making Karen feel bad. Like she brought me without a pink shirt. Well, didn't you know that? And I'm like, don't make her feel bad. This is her day. It's all of your days. There's no reason to make this a thing. I don't need to go on the field. So I just immediately walk away. I back away from the cluster of pink. And they got to bring in a guy off a trailer, and they're all having a discussion. And then finally, I just walk over, and they're like, well, we can find you. There's a bigger pink shirt, but we don't know. And I go, look, I don't want a pink shirt. I don't want to go on the field. And they said, you don't want to go on the field? I said, no. And Karen's like, are you sure? I go, it's fine. I don't mind. And Karen's like, okay, well, you can help hand out umbrellas. I said, what? She goes, yeah, when we go into the field, we're all going to take a pink umbrella, and that's what the thing is. That's when we open it, and that's what forms the ribbon. So you can stand in the front of the line, and you can hand out pink umbrellas to everybody. Look, you volunteer for this. Okay? I don't fucking volunteer for this for a fucking reason. I'm bad at it. Because you know why? I don't like taking orders from Alice and all these other motherfuckers. I'm here to watch you go out on the field. That's it. I don't even want to see the game. Because I haven't been to bed. That's another thing, folks. It's fucking 1:00 in the afternoon. I haven't been to bed. I had gotten up the previous day at 3 and been up all day. So I've been up 22 hours, and I'm in the sun in the middle of a cluster of pink getting yelled at by Alice. So Alice is like, oh yeah, you and then my brother here, you guys will hand out the umbrellas. So I get sucked into the umbrella vortex, and I don't give a fuck as long as it means Alice leaves Karen alone. Fine, I'll hand out umbrellas. So they bring out these huge boxes of pink umbrellas. And she's like, all right, hand them out, but only one per family, and don't give it to the children. I said, why not? She goes, we don't want them, lollygagging around with it. It's just, let the adults hold the umbrellas. Alice, I never thought I would have been rooting for cancer in my life. But you're really making it hard for me to pick sides. Like, part of me wishes cancer shows up right now and takes you the fuck out. Finishes the job. Finish the job, cancer. What the fuck is wrong with you? Come on, cancer. I've heard so much about what a badass you are. You let Alice escape your clutches? I got a feeling even cancer went, fuck this. I'm done. Cancer left her voluntarily. Medicine had nothing to do with it. Alice has such a terrible disposition that cancer fucking packed up and left like in a cartoon with it. All of a sudden she was sleeping and you saw cancer with its suitcases walk out the door. Alice didn't get cancer treatment. Cancer is getting Alice treatment right now. It's just sitting in a fucking chair getting a drip, just drinking orange juice and being sick, remembering the days of Alice. So I'm standing there, and they bring over the boxes of umbrellas. And all these people, but they're like, that bullshit where they're trying to organize people, and they're yelling, stand in 2 lines and move to the side, dude. Just let people go on the field. You know what I mean? And it's not, because people are grown-ups. They're not going to run off and start tackling the Dodgers. I mean, they know what they're going to do. But sure enough, they get in the lines. And so I grab the umbrellas, And Alice was like, okay, hand them to them as they go walking on the field. Well, fuck that. There's 2 lines. I'm not going to go, here's an umbrella, here's an umbrella. Why don't I just give them umbrellas? So I did. I scooped up a bunch of umbrellas, and her brother looks at me and goes, that's a great idea. He scoops up a bunch of umbrellas, and I just go down the line, and I start handing umbrellas. I go, who wants an umbrella? Here's an umbrella. Take an umbrella. And little kid's like, can I have an umbrella? Of course you can, son. Here, take that umbrella, because I don't give a fuck. Again, you've survived cancer. You should just be like, umbrellas for everybody. I actually think that's the slogan of the Susan G. Komen Foundation. Umbrellas for everybody. I think it is. And I started handing them out. And sure enough, Alice comes running down. What are you doing? What are you doing? And I'm like, what? She goes, I told you to hand them out as they walk in the field. I go, what does it matter? I'm giving them to them now so they have them. And it doesn't turn into a zoo. It gets the line going faster. They have umbrellas. And Karen is, thank God, not there to watch me battle Alice. She's off volunteering for something else. You know what I mean? I think she's actually playing Pepper with Matt Kemp. I mean, that's where my wife is. Because that's the thing that she does too, is she somehow has a way. Oh, and I should tell you this. The cool family that Karen wants to hang out with, the woman is throwing out the first pitch.
Cool.
Yeah, so they picked her, and she's a survivor who's going to throw out the first pitch. Fucking amazing. And they were so nice and friendly. I only wish that I somehow had money to hang out with them and feed them. But I don't. We're in different class structures. So, so fuck. She's been asked to throw out the first pitch. I'm getting yelled at for passing out umbrellas. That's where we are in our lives. So I said, fuck it. I handed out the umbrella. And then Alice went through and took the umbrellas away from the people that I'd handed them to and brought them to the front and put them back in the box. They are to be handed out as people take the field.
Oh my God.
And I just laughed. I went, ha, okay. And even her brother was like, well, Alice, shouldn't we just go ahead? And she's like, no, it's done this way for a reason. And I wanted to go, what's that reason, Alice? What's that reason? Meanwhile, you can see Cancer in a helicopter just waving at me. Ha ha! She's your problem now, buddy. Drives off. He's hanging from a ladder. Cancer's hanging from the ladder of a helicopter. So long, Krabby. Awful. And so, sure enough, people then started to go past me, and they're like, let's go on the field, and I'm handing out umbrellas, and then a little kid goes, can I have one? And I go to hand him one, and Alice goes, no, only adults. And the mom of the kid said, he'll give it to me when we get it. He's just getting it for me. No, hand them to the adults only. And just, Jesus Christ, what a fucking pill. What a pill. So I did. I started handing them to everybody. And then every time she'd turn around, I'd hand it to a kid because I don't give a fuck. If there was a kid with one umbrella, I gave him a second umbrella as he walked by. I don't care. And then they went out on the field. And I did not make it onto the field. I on purpose. But I will tell you this, folks. Of the people who went on the field, I would say about 65% of them were wearing pink. The other people were wearing khaki or beige or green or whatever the fuck they wore to the park because they didn't have enough pink shirts for everybody. But they let them on the field. I don't know why it turned into a thing. And again, I don't care because I don't want to be on the fucking field. All right. I've been on Dodger Stadium's field. God damn it. But who cares? Whatever. And to go stand in the sun with a parasol. So I stood on the warning track, which is even more ridiculous because then it's like, who's that fat guy in the warning track? And then the best part was the Dodgers. Matt Kemp came out. He's standing right by me. He's like, hi. And he's warming up. And then Dexter Fowler, like, because it was the Rockies and the Dodgers. And they were right. I filmed almost all of it, like, because I had Karen's phone, because I wanted to film her on the field. And then when Matt Kemp came running up, I filmed him. And I filmed the girl throwing out the first pitch. It was great. So Karen has all of that now, which is fun. But Karen was waving at me. She had, that was all it was about for me. I didn't give a fuck about Alice or umbrellas. It was about Karen experiencing this thing that she wanted to experience. She wanted to be on the field. It was a reward for all of her volunteer work that they'd done. I don't know how much of a fucking reward it was, quite frankly, but that's fine. Good for them. And then they came off the field, and Alice is like, well, grab the umbrellas when they come off the field. And I said, okay. And then I walked away. I'm not the umbrella collector. There's a box there. And sure enough, people just, because you know why? Because people are human beings. They see the box where the umbrellas came out of, and they know that instinctively they should drop the fucking umbrella in the box. So they did. And Alice went off and yelled at somebody else. And then I looked at Karen and I'm like, are we going to watch the game? And Karen's like, I don't really want to stay for the game. And I said, okay, that's cool. And so we left. We bailed. And I got home and I went to bed and I woke up and I was sunburnt because I don't go outside anymore, ever. And you know what would have helped with that sunburn, folks? Probably an umbrella, I would imagine, if I had some sort of parasol that I had held over my head. I like to think that my sunburn was it was Alice's cancer manifesting itself in skin cancer on me, just so it would have a more helpful host. It was like, oh my God, please, we like you. You're friendly. You're funny. Cancer looks for funny, folks. It does. Ron Schock, unfortunately, just passed away because cancer was like, I need to find funny. Boom. You're not going to find much funnier than Ron Schock. And it fucking piloted Ron Schock to wherever Ron Schock is now. Heaven? Or comedy purgatory? I don't know. Where do they go? I don't know where they go. All depends on what religion you are. Because that's the thing, whatever Ron Schock believed, that's where he wound up. But if you're a different religion, if you're Catholic, you think right now Ron Schock is in heaven. And he's hanging out with Sam Kinison and Bill Hicks and George Carlin and Richard Pryor. Because they all made it into heaven, of course. That's if you're Catholic. If you're Muslim, you think that right now Ron Schock is banging 72 virgins. Although I guess he didn't really die in a jihad. Do you have to die in a jihad to get the 72 virgins? Or does every Muslim who dies get 72 virgins? I'm not sure either. I got to figure that out. Hey, Muslim, send me a note. But if you send me a note, do me a favor. Do not put your name on the return address part of the envelope. Because this is America, and any mail correspondence from a Muslim will get opened and rifled through. And I don't think I need them to read your note about Ron Schock and cancer. Because who knows? They might think there's a plot. Doesn't matter. If I receive mail from a Muslim, I'll go on some watch list. I fly a lot, Muslims. Don't send me any mail. I mean, I got nothing against you. And we know that it's just all happy and you're just educating me about virgins. But still, if I get mail from the fucking Muslims, some American government, I'm going to go on a watch list and I'll never be able to fly again. So, and I can't walk to Boston. Boston. Remind me.
Boston.
I'll talk about, I talked about it. There's a noise curfew. So I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do. So I called today, so he wrote me the email, and I wrote him back, and I go, noise curfew. That doesn't ring a bell at all. Because I talked to Frank, and I told him it's a 3-hour show. I'm starting at 8, and everything was fine. And because the only thing I knew was I had to set up my own fucking chairs. That was the only thing I had heard about your building. And he wrote me back, and he said, no, there is a definite noise curfew at 10:15. I'm CCing Frank on this too. You'll have to talk to him about it again. But right now, as far as I know, you need to be out by 10:15. And I wrote, and I'm like, look, I'm not a band. I'm not loud. It's me just talking, sometimes yelling, and people laughing, sometimes not. But I don't think it's going to break any noise curfew at 10:15. So I don't think there's going to be a problem. And I'd mentioned it to Frank. And then I got a note from Frank today. And Frank said, this is definitely a problem. We have people who live in apartments that are attached to the building. So we have a rule that all events must be done by 10:15, and you have to be out of the building. Nobody mentioned this to me. Nobody said a fucking word to me. I don't know if they just thought because I was a comedian, I was going to talk for an hour and we'd all be done. But I guarantee you, I told him, because I had to tell him, look, when I book a venue, I tell them it's 3 hours, so you can't have another act in there at the same time that I'm in there. I tell them that I have music cues and light cues, and I need a microphone stand with a round base. I make very clear what I need before I cut you a fucking check. And so I know I covered this. I know I did. I don't have it in writing. That's the problem. I don't have this contract that says, but then they don't have a contract that says I have to be out by 10:15. You know what I mean? There's no... and there's nothing on their website that says I have to be done by 10:15. I know I told him. So I don't know what the fuck to do. So my bottom line is if you guys, I'm thinking, here's my options. I just do the show from 8 to 10:15 and I get in what I can in that amount of time. I change the start time of the show from 8 to 7, but I don't know if that fucks with you guys, getting to and from the show. Or I just say fuck them and I just keep talking and see what happens at 10:15. But that, to me, that's a non-starter, because then I'm putting all of you in my fucking mess. What am I going to do? They're going to come in and chase me out, and then we're going to be, I've got this crowd of people. I don't want it to be that. I just want us to have a good time. You know what I mean? Isn't that weird? Isn't it weird that I would think that? You know what I should do? I should just have Alice call Frank. Why don't I just have her fucking go to town on him? Because she could probably just, if she's mean enough, maybe Cancer will show up and take Frank out for her. That's how mean she is. She's turned Cancer on to be on her side. So the bottom line is I don't know what the fuck to do, folks. I'm going to make a decision in the next couple days because the show's a week away. Sure wish I could have heard about this a month ago. But I'm probably just going to do the show in the 8 o'clock to 10:15 window. I mean, what I was making a joke about earlier was that, I saw Roger Waters on Saturday, and Roger Waters started, and then there's an intermission for Roger Waters when side 1 of the wall ends, and then there's an intermission, and they come back and they do side 2 of the wall, and it finishes. And his show was about 2.5 hours with the intermission. My show's 3 hours without an intermission. I don't build a fucking wall. I don't have a plane crash. Although my recent mail has indicated that perhaps there's going to be a plane crash in my future. So maybe this is the opportunity I take to make the show streamlined and do something like that and not act like a jackass. But then at the same time, I've painted myself into this corner with myself and Hitler. About how I've done a certain show a certain way in different cities and it's always been different. I'm at a fucking crossroads of what I want to do, folks. I wound up talking to David about it on the phone today for an hour, about, doing the show that I'm supposed to do versus doing the show that I want to do. And, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck to do. So bottom line is I think, I might start at 7:30. Because then that's not 7, it's at least at 7:30 and it's, maybe I need a fucking spur in my giddy up. You know what I mean? That's the worst phrase I've ever used in my life. Why the fuck did I think about that? So I come to you again. I have no idea what I'm doing just yet. Fuck it. But I have to though. By the end of the show, I have to have an announcement, right?
No.
Yeah, I kind of do.
You can email everybody that bought tickets.
At Brown Paper, you can.
Yeah, you have everybody's information.
And there's another guy who listens to the show. He's like, "Hey man, my kid can't make it till 9." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's fine." Well, now that poor kid's going to see nothing. And so I'll refund. Let me tell you this. First of all, if you want a refund, you got it. All right. Just write me and tell me, and I'm happy to refund your ticket if you're not going to come. That's fine because this isn't what you bargained for. You thought it was going to be a certain thing and it's not. And I wish I could say it was an easy fix, but it's not. I mean, well, I guess it is. I mean, I could just start the show at 7, but that fucks with your travel time, or I could just do the show within the allotted time. And that's the easiest solution is to just do the show between 8 and 10:15. But then that's not the show that I want to do. Hi, Lily. Bunched up. You have a question?
Why don't you do your open from 7:30 to 8 and start your actual show at 8? Because you always talk before the show.
Yeah. True. Well, then it starts at 7:30.
Well, no, the pre-show starts at 7:30. Your actual one-man starts at 8.
But it's not really an actual one-man. The show it's become something different than what it was in the beginning. There's no hard, thing to it. Well, there's a narrative part, but then there's the part about Boston up top. All right. Bottom line, show starts at 7:30. Does that work for all of you? Muslims, are you on board? Alice, do you have anything to contribute? As my sunburn burns every time I say her name. I think she's thinking of me. I know she's thinking of me. I can't believe that guy handed the umbrellas to kids. Grr. But yeah, I was all sunburned. I haven't been outside in forever because I sleep during the days. I'm a fucking vampire. So it's like I'm Johnny Depp from Dark Shadows out there at the goddamn Dodger Stadium handing out umbrellas to everybody. And I burn, I tan, it turned into a tan now. I have color, but in the beginning it's fucking sunburn. And, did I tell a story on here about the horrible sunburn I had? I had to tell that story, right? I was in Lake Tahoe. Did I ever tell the story? All right. When I was in Lake Tahoe, I was, I first when I lived there, I lived with a guy, and he was a gambler, and he lost all his money. And then we were homeless, and we were living in a hotel and stealing donuts, and then stealing chips and salsa, whatever the fuck. By year 2, so I wind up living eventually with this woman, Dolores, and I talked about that. I found her vibrator by year 3. So, so later on, I wind up moving in with a bunch of dudes, me and DJ and Craig and Ransom. And then, these guys, Robert and Robert, stayed a summer with us. And, I wanted to be part of their hijinks. So we'd be out all night, you know what I mean? And I was just happy to find guys to hang out with, because I'd been hanging out with this dude Guy forever. And then I wound up, I was going to fight him, and then he wouldn't fight me. And then I moved out, and I was working at a pizza place. I met Katie. Fuck you. Again, this is all shorthand. Cause I don't want to, I thought for sure I told this story. But I started hanging out with this guy, DJ. And DJ was really he was like a really good looking guy who banged a bunch of chicks. And I was like, all right, that's cool. Maybe I'll get a little, a little by osmosis. I'll draft behind him in the drag race of life. I'll go ahead and whatever he doesn't pick up, I'll be able to pick up. So we started hanging out. And so, one day when, winter became summer, he wanted to go to the beach. It's Lake Tahoe. The beach is gorgeous. And he's like, dude, let's go to the beach. And I'm like, oh, man, I'm beat because I had been up all night bouncing. And he's like, no, man, let's go to the beach. It'll be awesome. So I was like, all right. He goes, we'll sleep on the beach. I said, all right, fine. So we go to the beach, and we go and we crash. I swear to God, I told this story on here. We go to the beach, and we get there at like fucking noon, and it's nice out and it's gorgeous. Well, here's the thing. I'm in Lake Tahoe, and the lake is pure and it's gorgeous and it's really beautiful. And sometimes it snowed there on the 4th of July once. That's the thing, is it'll be hot during the day. It'll be like 85 degrees, and then at night it'll be like 30. It's the weirdest thing. So it was one of the first real nice days of spring/summer, and it was about 85 degrees, and we go out to the beach, and he goes, we can sleep on the beach. So we grabbed fucking, like, literally I took my bed clothes. I slept on the floor in his clothes. So I took a blanket from his bed, and I took a pillow. We actually took like pillows and blankets, like hobos, and we went to the beach, and we just laid on the beach, and we looked at bikinis, we looked at hot chicks, but then eventually we just went to sleep. It was about 12:30 in the afternoon. Now, again, like I said, Tahoe, the weather is so weird, but also you're at elevation in Lake Tahoe. So you're much higher up than, you're not a mile high certainly, but you're in the mountains. So, you're a little closer to the sun. So it's warm out, but I don't even know if the sun's more intense. Like, I don't know fucking science. All right, call Neil deGrasse Tyson. He'll be able to fill in the blanks on my story. But the bottom line is I fell asleep at like 1 o'clock on the beach, and then I woke up at 5. And DJ woke up with me, and we're like, well, we got to go home. We're fine. So we go home. And I have to go to work that night. So it's like we get home about 6, and I have to be at work at 10 with Deej. And then around 6:30, I start to get like kind of nauseous. And I'm like, oh man, I don't, what's going on? Because I was sunburnt. Okay. Because I was sleeping, I had a shirt on, but I had it unbuttoned and open, and then shorts on, and then no shoes and socks on. So I started to get like kind of nauseous, like I was sick, and I'm like, dude, and I said, I got to eat something because I haven't eaten. So KFC was down the street. So we would always run to KFC and get food. So we sent somebody out to do a KFC run, and he got food for the house. And DJ's like, man, I don't feel so good. And he was also sunburned. And they brought the food home, and we ate. And within like 15 minutes, I threw up all the food that I ate. I was just like, oh my God. But when I stood up to go throw up, I couldn't stand up. And I was like, oh, so I had to roll on the floor to the bathroom and then crawl into the bathroom and throw up in the toilet. And DJ was on the sink, on the couch, just moaning like, oh. And Craig and Ransom were like, ha ha, idiots. They're making fun of us. And I'm laying there throwing up. And then Ransom came in, and he's very pleasant and nice because we're all guys. And he slapped me as hard as he could on the back.
Oh.
And I'm sunburned, so I'm vomiting, and he hits me, and I'm like, ah. And I finish throwing up, and I roll back outside. And I go to stand up again, and I can't. And when I say I can't, it wasn't like my legs were, it wasn't my muscles. My skin wouldn't let me stand up. because it felt like it was going to tear off my body if I stood up. And I looked in the mirror, and it was the first time I'd really seen, just over the couple hours from 5:30 to 7:30, I looked like a tomato. I mean, like this, like a horrible bruised tomato. And you could see on my hairline, I had blisters starting already. Like I'd been, and this, so I went to walk over, and I tried to walk, and I had to go to my knees, and I'm like crawling. And I laid down, and DJ was just as sick as me. And I go, I can't move. I can't go to work. And DJ's like, we got to go to work. And I'm like, well, you can go to work. I'm not going to fucking work. If you go, tell him I won't be in. So DJ stood up, and he, for some reason, because he tanned like better than I did, so he was able to get up and get dressed. And he was still nauseous. He didn't throw up, but his skin was, I couldn't move. I was just moaning. So I'm just laying there, and I'm still in the same clothes from the beach. And I every time I move, it feels like my skin is going to rip off of my body. So I'm laying there, and I can't move, and everybody leaves. And about 11 o'clock, there's a knock on the door, and I'm not even going to answer it. So I hear a key in the lock, and the door opens. And I hear someone, they go in the bathroom. I don't even look. Like, I'm just moaning, like, and they run water in the bathroom. And then I'm laying there, and I felt someone approach me, and then all of a sudden, freezing cold, like on my shoulder. And I jumped, and I turned around, and then also on my face, they put cold compress on my face and on my shoulder. And it was this girl, Bonnie, who I had been fucking. I mean, not dating, but she was from the club, okay? And she didn't work at the club, but she would come to the club, and then we had fucked a couple times, whatever. So she comes over, and she puts cold compress on my shoulder and on my face, and she's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I don't know." And she turns the light on, and she's like, "Oh my God!" And I'm like, "What?" And she goes, "Don't move." And she went and got more cold water, and she like put it on my arms and my legs, like and my chest. Like I was covered in cold towels. And I was like, this feels good, but also bad. And she's like, "Just don't move. Don't move." And, I was laying there covered in, because I slept on the floor. So I'm laying on the floor, covered in cold towels on my face, my arms, my legs, my chest. And she's telling me, she's like, "What did you do?" And I'm like, "Well, she goes, "DJ said you were at the beach." I go, "Yeah." And she goes, "You fell asleep?" And I go, "Yeah." She goes, "Have you seen yourself?" And I'm like, "No." She goes, "Can you walk?" I said, I don't know. And, she goes, "All right, well, come on." And she went to help me up, and I was like, like I couldn't even stretch my skin. So I crawled again to the bathroom, and then I got to the sink, and I perched myself up. And all right, like I said before, I looked like a tomato. Well, now I look like a tomato that was fire roasted, because already I have blisters on my face and my arms, and I'm peeling. My face is peeling already. It's not black or anything until you get to my arms, and then it's black. Like it's fucking like brown and black, and my skin is peeling off already in a night. Like in one night, it was fucking crazy. And I was like, I couldn't move because it felt like my skin was going to tear off. And she's putting, she's running water, and she's throwing water in my face, and there's oozing fucking blisters on my head. And I'm just staring at it because I couldn't get over how fucking retarded I looked. I looked like a, you know how I look like? Remember I said I looked like a tomato, and then a fire roasted tomato? I look like the tomato from the Snappy Tom can. You ever see him? He's like super red, and he's got a mustache, like a crazy Mexican mustache. I look like him, but the mustache was peeling skin off of my face. And so she's throwing water on me, and she's like, "Oh my God, I can't, you look terrible." And I go, "Do I need to go to the hospital?" And she's like, "Probably, but do you want to go?" And I'm like, "I can't. I don't have any money. I don't have any, I have no insurance." Because I'm a 20-year-old fuck up at the time, or 21. And she's just like, "Well, all right, well, hold on. I'll just stay here." And she put the cold stuff all over me, and then she left, and she came back with like, burn cream. I forget what not sunscreen, burn cream, whatever the fuck that is. I don't even remember the name of it. but she had like 2 tubes of it and rubbed it all over, like every inch of my body. Like it was all over my legs and my arms, my chest. And I will tell you this, the thing that I couldn't believe, because I was just wearing like white shorts with a fucking button shirt. I have no idea how my cock didn't burn off. Like I didn't, that was the one I did not get any sunburn on my cock. Like I couldn't believe it. And here's how I know that didn't happen. Because as I'm laying there and I've got cold compress on my face and I'm moaning and I'm oozing blisters and all that, and she's rubbing lotion all over my arms and my legs, I got a hard on. Because she's, it's the girl I was fucking, and I don't know if it's because that she's taking care of me, but it's because she's rubbing stuff all over me, my chest, my fucking arms, and she's laying on me to do it. We're in close quarters, and so she's rubbing this stuff on me, and I can barely move, but I reached up and I grabbed her hand, and of course I put her hand on my cock, and she's like, do you need it on there too? And I said, no. And she's like, well, what? Oh no, you don't want to do that. And I said, well, yeah. And she goes, you can't even walk. You're crawling to the bathroom. You're oozing with sores. And I'm just like, well, but you know what? You're here. I mean, why not? And the guys aren't here. Like we're never alone in the house. And she's just like, I don't think so. That's not happening. And I'm like, oh, you sure? She goes, yeah, I'm sure. And she puts the burn cream all over me, and she's got the thing on my face, and she's like, all right, I'm going to go get more stuff. She goes, but I have to go home. I won't be back for like an hour, but don't move. Not that you're going to move, but don't move. And I'm like, all right, I won't move. So she leaves, and I'm sitting there mad, and I still had a hard on, and I got towels all over me anyway.
Oh, Jesus.
So I jerked off. I was like, I got to jerk off because I was all revved up. And so I jerked off, covered in cold towels, like oozing sores, burn cream. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think, to this day, I think that's the loudest I've ever been having sex in my entire life. Because it hurt. I was in pain. There was no doubt, because I had, you position your legs, you move your back, and I got my arm, and I'm moving my arm, and I'm just like, but it didn't matter. It did not matter. I still was going to fucking rub one out. It makes me appreciate the cancer survivors that much more when I think about it. The things that they've been through, and they still live their lives. Fuck, I was laying there burned to a fucking crisp, and I still found time to jerk off. Not just the time, the intestinal fortitude, folks. The stick-to-itiveness, and never before has that phrase meant more in its life. The stick-to-itiveness to go ahead and jerk off to run off a batch. You know what that makes me, folks? That makes me a survivor. That's right. Where's my fucking umbrella to go stand in the middle of Dodger Stadium? Come on, kids. We're going to form a red ribbon. It's funny. I mentioned that people wrote me notes and they were trying to tell me that, about my finances and things like that. Andrea wrote me a note, and in it, she was like, you know what? I worry about you. I hope things are going well. But also at the same time, to mention you saw the Avengers twice. Maybe I don't worry about you as much as I should probably. She goes, you remind me of a woman who went to work who actually missed work because she spent so much time on the beach she got so sunburned. You know what I ask you, Andrea? Do you think that woman had the strength to rub one out? Next time you see her, ask her for me. Yeah. I'm building a team to go to Dodger Stadium. I can't form a one-man ribbon. I need people to get on board with me, goddammit. If you've ever jerked off under fucking dire circumstances, get on my team. The Susan G. Komen team. We got something in our hands, but it's not umbrellas. Quite, honestly, the crowd needs umbrellas when the Susan G. Komen team takes the field. You guys can get me at Mike at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You guys can be my friend at Facebook.com/the40-year-old boy. You can follow me at twitter.com/the40year-old-boy. You can follow our friend Lily Von Stupp at Twitter twice. Twitter.com/Lily Von Stupp or Twitter.com/MNTs. You can be her friend at Facebook.com/Lily Von Stupp. You can be our friend Max's friend at Facebook.com/David Mex Hernandez. And if you want to write Lily a personal note and find out what she does every night when she goes to bed, you can go ahead and write her at Lily at burlesque411.com. That's Lily, Lili, at burlesque411.com. Her name is Audriana DeRuse. Her name is Audriana DeRuse. Her name is Audriana DeRuse. Her name is not Adriana DeRuse. Her name is not Adriana DeRuse. Her name is not Adriana DeRuse. Want to remind you folks about the Monday Night Tease every Monday night at the 3 clubs on Santa Monica and Vine. It is the world's longest running burlesque show. It is amazing. I have been many times. I haven't been recently, disappointing, but I'm hoping to get back soon. And I have a connection with that show. I happen to know the producer. She's a good friend of mine, a good friend of ours, if you want to include yourself in my group. Why wouldn't you? That would be my friend Lily Von Stupp. Hey, Lily.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Fantastic. You produced that show. How was this week's show?
Fantastic.
And this was the taco night?
Tacos, tequilas, and titties. It was awesome.
And there was a taco truck.
Yeah.
Did you eat off this taco truck?
Don Chow, yeah.
Was it good?
It was wonderful. It's Chinese-Mexican fusion food. It's
I love food off a truck.
I don't like food off a truck, but I enjoyed this food.
I demand all of my food be served from wheels. It was fantastic. Well, this is Don Show's their second time with you, right? Yes?
Yeah.
Good. All right. And that was good. And the show was good
Yeah,
itself?
the show was great.
Doc and Stumpy were there, I understand.
Yes.
And their plaid pants
Yes.
and their plaid sensibilities.
Yes.
Well, good. Were you? Did you perform? Were you involved in said show?
I was the butt of 2 jokes.
That's good.
I'm always the butt of a joke.
You're always a butt. So there's a show coming. So stupid. I just wanted to say butt. This week is big, right? Yes. What's going on? Is it a theme show?
No, it is an out-of-town guest show.
Ooh.
Russell Bruner.
That sounds like a man.
It is. Sugarcane and Pink Lady do a threesome on the stage that's quite wonderful.
Sounds like one person too many for
2
me.
hot chicks and a buff guy. It's fantastic.
A butt guy? Butt.
And then I also have Hito Lux from Germany doing one of his performance arts pieces, which you'll hate.
Hold on one second. There's a man. He's a male performance artist from Germany?
Yes.
All right. And is there enough toilet paper in the city to contain that that display?
No, there will be nothing coming from that end. There will be fluids in his mouth, though.
Oh, my. Well, that's every week at your show.
It's not true.
Well, if it's a good show.
Also, Dizzy's performing.
Dizzy Von Dam will be there.
Performing. Quintessential's performing.
Dizzy and Debbie?
Great show.
Dizzy and Debbie and Quintessential and
It'll be a good show.
a
There's
German-
Jezebel Thunder. Oh, Jezebel Thunder.
Wait a minute. Now, Jezebel, hold on. If Jezebel Thunder's there, how is the German guy going to take that?
What do you mean?
They're inherently racist and they don't enjoy the people who are.
Racist at all.
It sounds like he's very racist to me.
No.
Oh, all
Diamond
right.
Debbie is also of color.
Who is?
Diamond Debbie.
Does he know this? This guy does not know this. I guarantee this. He's going to show up and be very disappointed to see this.
Not at all.
He likes his burlesque shows pure.
No, he doesn't.
He does. All right. The liquid in his mouth, ivory soap.
Nope.
Yes, it is.
Nope.
All right. Well, go see this racist German guy and then a couple other hot girls.
Racist. Don't say that. He's awesome. I love having him in the show.
Awesome is the German word for racist.
No, it's
Yes, it is. Get a Berlitz dictionary.
a burlesque.
Yes. I don't know. I think I just popped it in my head.
It's burlesque. I like it.
Do
It's a
that.
whole German burlesque show.
Oh, that yeah. And you know who's not? You know who's not at that show? Diamond Debbie or Jezebel Thunders. Neither of them are allowed.
You're terrible.
Deutschland, Deutschland, über alles. All right, so folks, look at the fun we had with Hitler making soup. He knows.
You won't be at the show either.
What? All right, I want to tell your story so bad. That's a funny story. All right,
I don't care.
you sure? All right, I'll tell it on the way out.
right.
Make sure you remind me. All right, so go to the Monday Night Teas and check out that show and see our friend Lily. And remember, if you smack her on the ass, you get in free. That's exciting. If you go to facebook.com/the40year-old-boy and smack me on the ass there, you can be my friend. But that's it. I demand that you smack me. Be my friend at facebook.com/the40year-old-boy and look on there for shows and cities that I'm going to. I will tell you this. Let's give you a couple of updates really quick. Western New York, probably not happening. I appreciate you guys and all of your efforts, but I think we've got 7 people on board, and that just doesn't make sense for me to come out and do that. Right now, we're still trying, but that's fine. Fresno, same thing. San Antonio, we got to about 20, and then it petered out, and I can't in good conscience look for a show in Texas at only 20 people of support. That doesn't make any sense. You got to get at least like triple that on the page or double that, or who knows. Whatever. I make the decision. I would love to come to San Antonio. I just don't think there's nearly enough support for it. However, I will tell you that Wisconsin and Detroit are still in play. I have contacted 10 theaters in Detroit, and there was one that looked like it was going to happen, and then that fell through. And also, they don't have a PA system. And also, they have a noise curfew. But that's okay because they don't have a PA system, so there won't be any noise. Whatever. That is true. I looked like I was going to be booking a show in Detroit, and they didn't have a PA system. And I went, well, I can reach out to fans, but I mean, how fugazi do I want to fucking be with this thing, for fuck's sake? You know what I mean? A listener of the show already said, hey, you should try couchsurfing.org to go and sleep on people's couches. And what was funny is another listener of the show then wrote, you've listened to the show. What makes you think Mike ever wants to sleep in someone's house on their couch? And that's true. I don't like talking to you people through this. I'm going to come sleep in your fucking house? I don't think. And after you heard earlier a little bit about me and my sleeping habits, do you want me sleeping on your couch? I don't think you do. Better have a lot of cold compresses around, friends. Because you never know when the opportunity will present itself to ruin a rug. But, you know, I've contacted these theaters in Detroit, and then people, you know, so I'm looking toward the suburbs possibly. But I will say there was one theater, the Planet Ant Theater, that I was really excited about. And then they called me up and they said, we don't rent our theater. We do our own productions. And then I think he actually went, and hung up. So at least he got back to me. Other people don't even fucking get back to me. And then Wisconsin, I'm trying. And there's all these different, there's a guy in Green Bay who has a theater who wants me to come. And he and I talked, and then I said no, and whatever. It's all up in the air. And then I'm looking at other cities too, Milwaukee and Madison and other places. But it's Wisconsin and Detroit are, I would say, close. They're at least close to possibly happening. But everything else is still kind of in play. But please know that I am coming to Boston, June 1st at the Cambridge YMCA Theater. Tickets available at brownpapertickets.com. Show starts, I think, at 7:30. Still trying to figure it out with the noise curfew and all that, but it's supposed to start at 8, but I'm thinking more like 7:30. So the show will probably start in Boston at 7:30, and then we'll, there's shirts and meet and greet and show, and it's going to be great for all of us. So that's Boston, June 1st, Friday night at the Cambridge YMCA Theater, 7:30 we're going to call it. So come on out to that show. It'll be exciting and fun. June 15th in Kansas City at the Westport Coffee House Theater. I might be filming. I might be audio recording. I might just be doing a show. I might not even show up. I might just show up and have a fucking donut. You know what? Fuck this show. I ran to the theater. Let's just buy donuts and then sit down and talk. Wouldn't you like that? What if I just came out there and sat down and hung out with you guys and we had fucking donuts right there in the coffee house? Why not? And we'll film it. Let's film that. You know what? They've got a fucking filming video facility. Let's film us having a big ass fucking donut party. And by the way, that could be anything, quite frankly, when you think about it. I'll bring the rest of the Susan G. Komen Foundation, and we will have a donut party right there in the basement. Very rarely do you hear that. You know what? That's a phrase I'm bringing back right now. I'm actually inventing that phrase. Hey, Kansas City, I want to have a donut party in your basement. That can mean anything you want it to mean, folks. It can be dirty. It can be not dirty. But I want to have a donut party in your basement. God damn it. That's what I should say about every town. All right. So Kansas City, June 15th at the Westport Coffee House Theater. Come on out and check it out. I'm going to have a donut party right there in your fucking basement. June 29th in Toronto at Comedy Bar. Tickets are selling. I need to sell more tickets because I want to prove to this guy that I can talk to people in a room. I just booked my hotel, so this is happening. Still waiting on a passport, though. God damn it. I hope that shows up soon. But yeah, I'm getting the passport. All that's squared away. Passport's coming. Hotel's booked, airfare. So I am coming to Toronto on June 29th. That's going to be exciting at the Comedy Bar. Come and check it out. And July 27th in Indianapolis. Tickets not moving for this just yet. I understand it's a ways in the future, but it would be cool if you bought some tickets. Let me know that there's some interest at the Indy Fringe Theater, July 27th. That's a Friday night. Tickets are available now at Brown Paper Tickets for all of these shows. Go and pick them up now. That would be fantastic. I would appreciate it. And I just booked this, a donut party in your basement. And everyone's coming. Remember, if you go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com, you can go to the Joe Business page. And if you click on there, you'll see the tweakedaudio.com/40 link, where you can go ahead and click through and get yourself some autoerotic asphyxiation earbuds and some cock ring watches. Perfect to bring to a donut party in a basement. There's also the link there for the Zazzle store, where we now have the Fireboy mug. And then we also have the Thorgar and Yeep mug. I've sold a couple of those. Thank you so much to the people who've bought those. Our friend John, I know for sure, bought a Thorgar and Yeep. And other people have stepped up and done that. Thank you so much. We appreciate you buying the Thorgar and Yeep mug and the Fireboy mug. Now, here's news. If you go to the Joe Business page, well, before I get to the news, let me tell you this. On every page of MikeSchmidtComedy.com, upper left-hand corner, there's a donation, a little Schmitty with his pocket out. Click on that. You can donate to the show. You can send a one-time donation. Or you can send a $2, a $5, or a $10 a month donation. $2 a month, $5 a month, $10 a month. I appreciate it. I will get around to mentioning people soon, I promise. But as it is now, I'm very busy planning a donut party in your basement. But don't worry, eventually I'll get around to it. But also, I will tell you this. On the Joe Business page, there's a downloads link. And before, in the past, I've told you about other sort of sets that we've had. Well, there used to be a set. It's gone now. There was a Lord of the Schmidt set. Gone. Folks, the Lord of the Schmidt set no longer available. So right now you need to go to Joe Business and you need to click on the downloads link and feast your eyes on the Podcast of the Caribbean set. That's right. The Podcast of the Caribbean set is there right now for your perusal. You can buy all the 4 years of this show individually. You can buy year 1, Curse of the Black Schmidt. You can buy year 2, Dead Man's Schmidt.
Oh my God.
You can buy year 3, At Schmidt's End. Or you can buy year 4 on Stranger Mike's. $25 each for all of those. Curse of the Black Schmidt, Dead Man's Schmidt, At Schmidt's End, or on Stranger Mike's. Or you can get the entire set, Podcast of the Caribbean, for $75. That's right, folks. It's like getting one free. You're buying 3 and getting 1 free. If you just buy the whole Podcast of the Caribbean set, $75, folks. Right now available at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. Click on the downloads page and sail off to adventure with the Podcast of the Caribbean set. Ha ha. It was so funny. We were trying to figure out the theme for it, and there were a few, because I another one that I had was the 4 Horsemen, of course, and we were going to have pestilence, war, famine, and death, and Mex drew those, the roughs for those, but Podcast of the Caribbean was so ridiculous. Just to say Curse of the Black Schmidt, how do you not do that? And granted, I could say that every week if I wanted to anyway. It wouldn't have to have anything to do with the download set. I could just say Curse of the Black Schmidt for no reason. But instead, it has purpose. It has meaning. So right now, hop avast, ye hearties. Sail off to the Podcast of the Caribbean. And pick up the Curse of the Black Schmidt, the Dead Man's Schmidt, At Schmidt's End, or on Stranger Mike's. By the way, I should tell you this. You can order them now. You won't get them right away. Because my web guy has outpaced my upload guy. The upload guy being me. It takes like 36 hours to upload this for sale, and I could have done it in the previous weeks. I'm sure you're thinking that to yourselves. Why didn't I? Well, I was very busy at Dodger Stadium, folks, handing out umbrellas. How could I possibly? I was very busy trying to talk Cancer off a ledge, who was going to kill himself after Alice was mean to him. I was very busy. So I'm uploading them as we speak, and then they'll be available soon. You can still, let's put it this way, you can still buy, right now you can buy The Curse of the Black Schmidt, you can buy Dead Man's Schmidt, and you can buy At Schmidt's End. Those are all available, folks. $25 each. But right now on Stranger Mike's, and the entire Podcast of the Caribbean set, that's going to be available in a couple of days. Doesn't mean you can't order it. but I won't be able to fill those orders until the weekend. But just know that it's up there and it's ready. They're ready for you to click on and pay. Huh? They're not really ready. They're not. I spent 15 minutes telling them they weren't ready, but they're there, and you can click on them and wait. And now I get to go home and see what Mex came up with for artwork. Because I called him like 30 minutes into the show, and all right, I apologize. It wasn't exactly 30 minutes into the show. It was only like 15 minutes into the show because I had to stop and talk and all this other bullshit. So there's really nothing for him to draw from. So I called him and I'm telling him, I go, look, dude, I talked about Hitler and soup and American Idol, and that's kind of where we're at now. And he's like, what? What does that even mean? It was like ridiculous. It was like talking to an empty phone line. Like literally, I gave him nothing, and he ran away. Like I finally there's like Mex, and so he disappeared. So I have no idea what it's going to be, but I'm excited. Oh, aren't you excited? Well, actually, you already know. I mean, I guess at this point you already know. There's no point for me, but just know. All right, let's put it this way. Just know at this point, I'm very excited to see what it was, because it was just me telling him, dude, I have nothing to say, and he's like, well. Then why did you even call me? He goes, you might as well not even call me if you didn't have anything. And I'm like, well, no, but I got to call you to give you a general idea. So here's Hitler and he's making soup and then American Idol. He's like, dude, that does not help me at all. But I'm sure he made it into something. Because I have a tone. Because you know why? Because I talk quickly and I don't fucking think. That's why. I think that's what it means when you have a tone. Is you don't fucking bother to care what comes flying out of your goddamn mouth. I try to grow the show and I want people to get on board and they're like, I listen to it and you talk too fast. Really, I talk too fast. How the hell else am I supposed to cram all of this into a small 3-hour window? Dude, there's no script. I just go over this shit on the fly. It makes me laugh. If it doesn't make you laugh, turn the fucking station. And by turn the station, I mean turn the wheel of your car right into a guardrail. Jesus fuck. Hey, where are you going, boy?